Welcome to No Notes.
I'm Colby.
And I'm Alex.
And welcome back.
Welcome back. So I'm currently trying to process some trauma.
Oh, what happened?
So I started a new job and we had this quarterly leadership meeting.
Mm-hmm.
It was my first meeting being at this new job, and I had to introduce myself, which I did not know. And this is in front of the CEO and all the C-suite people. And this room is probably 80. It goes pretty far back. It's 80 yards back. It's a big room with directors and above. And they're like, okay, these are the new people that are joining us, and they had a picture of me on the screen, and they're named your name, title, and your favorite Disney movie.
Did you introduce yourself as Alejandro Rodriguez?
No, worse. They have this this cube that is made out of pillow material.
Okay.
And there's a microphone inside. It's called a catch box. And so I was the second person to go up, and they throw you somebody from the front throws it to this person that was in the middle that went first, and then she threw it to me, and she was probably 20 yards in front of me. And so because I'm gay, I can't catch.
Right.
So she did the thing where she threw it, she pushed it away from her chest,
mm-hmm.
which is a very hard. You should be doing under or over.
Well, it's also a cube, right?
It's a cube.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the person in front of me kind of hit it, and so it went up and it hit me directly in the face in front of everyone, and then it ricocheted and went into a wall. So then I had to go run and pick it up. Everyone's laughing, and I'm blushing, and then I have to immediately say my name, title, my favorite Disney movie.
Is there a recording of this?
I can probably find it.
God, I hope so.
It is so embarrassing. Why? And
I think I would have had to just quit. I just would have gotten my car and left.
I'm just why is catching such a big deal in my life? I can
Were
never.
you guys all in a trust circle too?
No, it was it was kind of a classroom setting where it's in the front. Everyone's facing the front of the room, and it's just lined chairs.
Oh, that's so embarrassing.
My God, I'm why? Why?
What was your favorite Disney movie?
I said Inside Out.
Oh, okay.
I love Inside Out.
But is that factual?
I think so. I couldn't think of anything else.
Oh,
I was embarrassed. I had to
figured
get
you
from
would
point
pick
A to point
one
B.
of the 90s Disney originals.
I needed to, and then
over Hocus Pocus.
I do I love Inside Out.
Actually, is the original Hocus Pocus Disney? It is, right?
Yeah,
okay.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next person that got to me, I did the perfect underhand, which is the appropriate way to do it. Landed perfectly in their hand.
So do you have it out for this coworker now? That threw it to you
I don't know her name. I just kind of blacked out. Oh God.
Embarrassing.
So we also have two pretty big albums that came out in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think we talked about this on a previous episode, but all the girls are pushing their shit out. They know the world's coming to an end.
Yeah.
You got to get the bops out before the summer. I think this is it. It's the last year of decent music. Yeah,
so Ari and Casey both came out with albums in the last 2 weeks, and both of them are really, really slow. The thing that kind of frustrated me is that Ari put out Yes and,
mm-hmm.
which made I thought it was going to be himbo pop.
It's a completely different tone than the rest of the album.
Yeah, it's kind of a misleading first single.
Mm-hmm. It's giving us blue balls.
It is, and I thought that we were, because the pandemic is now, far in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
I thought we're entering this new age of pop, strong pop, himbo pop, escapism, and it seems like every art, and same thing with Casey. Casey's is just an acoustic 45-minute album. There's no pop. She never intended it to be pop. It is all slow.
So there's no high horse equivalent.
Nope, not at all.
I have to be honest, I honestly didn't even know that Casey had a new album.
Yeah.
I do like Casey a lot. But I don't know, I'm not as trendy and up to date with music as you are, but the Ariana album, I don't love it. I have to be real.
Mm-hmm.
The most interesting part of all of it for me has been the TikToks where people are outing their exes and people that treated them badly that they can no longer be friends with.
Oh, I don't
for
think
that one song?
I don't think I've like. I mean, I've heard
Is
the
it
song.
we can't be friends?
Yeah.
Yeah. So people are using that for TikToks to show like relationships that didn't work out, and they're like just putting the people's faces on there.
Oh, I hope it's a joke.
No, it's very messy.
Oh my gosh.
But I kind of love it.
Speaking of being online, we have a new segment.
Yeah, we do have a new segment. So we're switching things up this week, and you're going to experiment. We're going to replace tops and bottoms.
Yeah, so our new segment is called Shit We Found Online. We found it to be very original and rolls off the tongue. So do you have anything you found online that's pretty fucked up?
Yes. Give me just a second to pull it up. This comes from one of our girlies in New York who sent me this Twitter thread. And it says, did y'all see the tweet about the guy that cleaned for nothing because the top couldn't get hard? And then the top answered that he couldn't get hard because the room smelled. And I don't know if any of this is factual. So basically, this guy like flamed someone on Twitter saying that he did all this prep work for nothing. And then this person tweeted back at him and was like, in my defense, when I walked into his place, there was so much trash on the floor and it smelled like the worst body odor I've ever experienced. Sort of difficult to concentrate. And so my question to you is, have you ever gone to a person's place so messy that you couldn't hook up with them?
I'm not a big hookup girl.
That's true.
I've had less than 20 sexual experiences in my entire life. Including kissing.
That's not nothing.
It's not nothing, but my number is, I think, comparatively, I have yet to find another person that is at my age that has had a lower sex count.
When you were single and hooking up, would you mostly go to someone else's place or have them over to yours?
I think all three were at my place.
So trying to avoid stranger danger.
Yeah, you know what? I should ask them. I should just find them on Instagram and be like, hey, did it smell?
Yours was the dirty place?
Yeah, it was me. This is about me.
I mean, at least if you're gonna get murdered, it's nicer to be at home.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you ever had that experience where it's like smell?
I did.
Were you the one?
No, are you kidding me? I'm like so anal retentive and OCD. Absolutely not. And I gag at like the tiniest of something that smells bad.
Chicken overcooked.
But this was like, I was really young. I was probably like 17. Like I was too young to be. Yes, I do have this experience. I went to hook up with this guy who was, I think, more kind of DL.
Okay. What makes you say he was DL?
Just everything about him. Like I remember there was no face profile or like no face photo. Okay. And he lived kind of out, and I like not in a neighborhood. He was out in like the suburbs.
Where were you living at the time?
My parents, so also out in the suburbs.
Oh right, you're 17.
Yeah. Not fashionable or even, there was nothing about him that came across as like obviously gay.
Yeah.
But he was a smoker, which I didn't know until I got there. So when I first got there, it was clear that he was a smoker because everything smelled like ash. But then I went to go pee. And when you just go to someone's bathroom, like, do you usually like check it out or do you just like pee and leave?
I'm trying to think of if I've ever no, I usually just go in there and
I mean, I'm not like the person that's like going through people's drawers or cabinets or anything, but I am just like a little inquisitive about the way people live. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. We've had friends before that have had like gross bathrooms, Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like, you kind of like peek into their shower or something. It just kind of tells you how someone lives. Alex, this man was using like the shelf of his shower as like an ashtray. Like a pile of ashes with cigarette butts.
Oh my God. Do you think that this person is in the bathtub just smoking?
I don't know, but wouldn't you clean it?
Anyway, I can never make out with someone that smoked.
No, I left.
Oh really? What did you say?
I don't remember. I think I was like, oh, my mom is coming home early and I need to go home or
Wait,
something.
another question.
Yes.
You said you were 17. How old was this person?
He was 20, I think.
Oh my God.
So
This
obviously
is the South.
it's the South.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was he your cousin too?
obviously I'm not condoning these kind of relationships, but I mean, I think I was honest about my age. So I wasn't misleading or anything,
that guy
but
was gross.
yeah, not really great. But still that's neither here or there. The point was that's just gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally. If someone has a gross place, I will leave, but also I'm like judging too.
Yeah. I usually just go in and out. Like I've never gone. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever gone
You're
to
in
the
it-
bathroom.
You're just in and out. It's
Yeah.
like a slip and slide.
Yeah. I'm not trying to know anything about this person.
Mm.
Hopefully I never see them again.
Is it sexier for you the less you know about someone? Do you like the like an anonymous sort of part of it, anonymity?
Usually I'm never in these like situations where I feel proud of myself when I'm hooking up with them. So yeah, I don't think it's sexy that I don't know anything about them. I think it's more like
It has a certain utility, and you just want to get it over with.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Ugh. God, I hate that feeling.
All right. So what did you find online this week?
So mine's not as crass as you because I'm, very
A classy girl.
classy person. But mine says, if the top says, "Oh fuck," as soon as he slides it in, get ready because it's only be 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, have you ever performed too quickly?
Just in general, or if I was topping.
Like,
Didn't you just say this wasn't as crass as mine?
well, okay, whatever. Let's go with top. Have you ever like topped and you're just like, oh fuck, this is
for
gonna
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not like maybe not that quickly, but pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Just because historically I haven't done it a ton. I mean, there's partners I've been with that it was a little more 50-50.
Yeah.
But if you haven't done it in a long time and then you do,
right,
then it's easy to.
Yeah. I was in a 6-year monogamous relationship, and then after that ended, when I eventually did hook up with someone, that first one I was definitely like a 3-pump chump.
Was this the daddy?
No, this was before that.
The furry daddy?
Before that.
Okay, I don't think I know about this one. I don't know if we talked about it.
I remember I like texted you right after that happened. And I was like, guess what happened? And I told you.
But this was at your place?
This was at my place, yes.
So you were just like, sorry, go?
Yeah, so I was like, I thought I made it clear that I came, but I kept going because I knew it was so, and then I was like, there has to be a way for me to like continue going. And then I was like, I'm sorry,
Have you ever been able to do like back to back before?
No, never.
Oh.
Have you?
I think I have, maybe several years ago.
As soon as I'm done, I'm like, ew, get off.
I'm
get
kind
out.
of the same way. Actually, it's like, honestly, it's not just sexual. It's like anything romantic too. I'm like literally zero contact.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to do my taxes right up.
Yeah, like something the complete opposite. There's probably like some sort of trauma response there that we should investigate. But no, I'm the same way. Like I just want that person away from me. Isn't that weird?
No, I mean,
and it's not like I find the act gross or anything. I just I don't know, something in my brain switches and I'm like, okay, no longer into that.
Yeah. That's done. It's canceled.
Yeah, I don't know what the solution to that is. Maybe we should give gooning a try.
What's gooning again?
It's like similar to edging, right? Where you just go for very long periods of time without.
Okay, but with sex instead of masturbation. Or hand jobs.
It's with masturbation.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, like edging.
Yeah. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
We'll report back. Let our viewers, our Velmas know.
We'll have you report back.
Yeah.
I'm asexual now.
Okay. Well, do you want to tell our guests where we actually just came from?
Yeah. Well, first off, it's St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, it is. Oh yeah, you were wearing actually something really green.
I know, and are you wearing green shorts?
Yeah, so
they're green adjacent.
It's an olive. right? It's
Yeah.
olive colored.
Mm-hmm. It's barely green.
No one pinched me, so I think
So that's just because you smell.
the the audience is on my side.
So St. Patrick's Day always makes me think about one movie in particular. Can you guess what that is?
Luck of the Irish.
The Luck of the Irish. Oh my God.
We're Disney Channel girlies. Did you watch all the Disney Channel movies growing up? Like
I think I saw most of them.
everything.
I kind of lived for them, actually.
I remember the Luck of the Irish because I kind of thought the main character was cute.
It was so hot.
Yeah,
I
he
actually
was
had
cute.
that in my notes here. Have you seen him now?
Do you really want to ruin this for me?
Yeah, you don't really want to see him. Let me see if I have him pulled up.
You know who did age really well?
Who?
The main character from the 13th Year.
The 13th Year.
The merman
Was
one.
he blonde?
He wasn't blonde, but I think he was brunette. He was like a swimmer, but every time he touched water, he'd get fins.
Oh my God, his last name is Starbuck. That's such a weird name.
Dude, that would be the perfect last name for you.
I don't think he aged that well. Ches Starbuck.
Oh, you know what?
I think you're thinking of someone else.
No, I think the one I saw was a really good picture of him, but he definitely didn't look like that.
This is the Ryan guy now, which he looks similar. But
He aged well. I would say that's a natural evolution. Does he
but
look older?
He doesn't look like his twink year days.
Yeah, you know what? This kind of ruined it for me.
I always thought first of all, have you rewatched that movie in a long time?
No, but I do remember that nickel is not supposed to be magnetic.
Oh.
How did he figure out that his necklace was?
I have no idea. I did rewatch this movie like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
but I was sort of just like working or something.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, is this movie offensive to Irish people? It's just
Because they're all like redheads.
Well,
they're all
the Riley O'Reilly
Yeah.
character was just so absurd. And
a blood sausage.
the mom.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Tragic. I wonder how bad the accent has aged.
It's really bad. You should go and watch it. But it's what I think of every time St. Patrick's Day comes around.
Well, that's a happy memory in my book.
Yeah. I was looking up St. Patrick's Day like queer stuff just to see like what was going on. And I was reading about I guess Staten Island has a really big St. Patrick's Day parade every year. And until this year, gay marchers were banned from it.
Well, Staten Island is famously pretty conservative.
But isn't that kind of crazy in the year, like up until 2024? But apparently like some like LGBTQ plus marchers had marched it before and they got screamed and yelled at. And I think like some like kind of fights broke out in previous years.
Sad.
So the mayor, Eric Adams, had like brokered this deal with Staten Island this year that they were able to be more visible and march in it. But I just thought that was fucking crazy.
Yeah, in this day and age, you would think that, because even conservatives can kind of like say that gays exist, at least like in the more populated
are we at least
areas.
Past that now? Like this sounds like we're talking about Mobile, Alabama or something. It sounds just fucking crazy.
Yeah, not the East Coast.
I mean, I'm not really sure. I guess it makes sense. Like St. Patrick's Day, I think is big to a lot of people. There's a huge Irish community in that Catholic area. So it makes sense that there's going to be a queer population that probably wants visibility and representation in that too. But I just thought that was crazy that we're still having to fight for this kind of representation and visibility in 2024.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
But good for them. Sad. I'm glad that they are finally getting to participate, and I hope all that went really smoothly this weekend.
Yeah, me too.
So it's like we said, St. Patrick's Day. We just came from a day party. Do you want to tell the Velmas more about that?
Yeah, so we just came back from El Rio's Sunday party called Daytime Realness. It runs from March through October, and it's been going on for like the last 14 years. It's a really big day party. Starts usually like around 2, goes through the afternoon, and like ends in the evening. This is the first year where the hostess isn't Heklina. She tragically passed away last year. I actually saw her last year at the opening party last year before she passed away.
And Heklina, I mean, a pretty famous drag queen. She lived here in San Francisco, right?
Lived here in San Francisco, huge in the 90s and early 2000s. She was one of the pioneers. She's friends with like Lady Bunny. So she's like a old school drag. She helped like Jinx Monsoon and Bandilla Creme. Like that's the sort of mother, drag mother she was to some of the younger queens. But yeah, huge icon. And she hosted this party, like I said, one of probably I would say it's the most famous queer daytime party in San Francisco.
Yeah. Day parties are a big thing here.
Yeah.
And I have never been to this one, the daytime Realness. I've only done, is it Mighty Real at the Phoenix?
For day parties?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Phoenix has just generally also, they're seasonal as well, but they have daytime parties during the Sundays.
Yeah. And I love a daytime party. I think it's just more casual. It's less sketchy, like a little more like friendly and open, I think.
Yeah. There's less like guilty feelings. Like you don't have to stay up late.
Yeah.
It's on a Sunday. So you're not, I usually don't go like too wild at these parties.
Yeah.
And
it's nice that you can be like back home by 5 or 6 and like
you can eat dinner,
go to the gym, whatever, and not, screw over your work week.
So how was your first experience at daytime?
I thought it was fun. I mean, we were blessed today that the weather here in San Francisco showed up because it's always a little bit of a hit or miss.
Although it's been amazing this weekend.
Yeah, but windy. And that's the part that you never know. Yeah. And today it was a really beautiful day. The crowd showed up. It was really busy there. Like
immediately.
And I mean, up until when we left, I mean, there was a line. There's probably like 70, 80 people in line outside the door trying to get in. So the venue was completely packed. And I mean, it seemed like a really fun crowd. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I went last year and the weather was not friendly. It was overcast and misty. But even
typical San Francisco.
Yeah, but even then, the party filled up by 3:30, 4 p.m. last year. But this year was we got there at 1:30. The party started at 2. There was a line. It was immediately crowded, but it was fantastic. I always love these parties. They're very casual, catch up with a ton of people every year. But one thing I always notice at this party specifically, but every day party in San Francisco, is the fashion.
What about it?
People generally really like to like dress up and show up and be proud of being queer. I think this year inflation hit the girls a bit.
Yeah.
There was, did you have any favorite outfits?
Besides my own?
Can you talk about what you were wearing?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to dress in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day today, so I was wearing a little bit of green. I sort of wore the Cape Cod or like Hampton sort of aesthetic of like cardigan folded over me that had some green accents on it.
Yeah.
I had a green little bag on. But yeah, the rest of my outfit was pretty neutral and casual.
It was cute. But did you see anyone out that's at least struck you? It doesn't have to be positive or negative.
I mean, at all these events, I see a lot of the same kinds of things.
The dangly earring.
Lots of dangly earrings, which, so that actually probably was my favorite outfit. There was a guy that had a platform croc earring, and then he was also wearing platform Crocs. Now, will I say it was a good outfit? No. But
it definitely made an impression.
It was a conversation starter.
It definitely was an outfit.
Yeah, the Crocs were probably like 3-inch platforms with PVC panels on top of them so that you could see his foot through them. And then he had like little charm things attached to them too, like a little frog or something. I don't know where you buy such horrid shoes. But kudos to him for having the bravery to wear them in public. He went for it.
I mean, he definitely wore them.
Actually, I will say that is the thing about the gay party fashion is the bravery and the audacity to wear some of these things in public. Like, is it bravery or is it delusion?
I don't know what people like what their plan is. Like, is it they look for an outfit, or is it they find an outfit and then think, oh, I could wear, like, I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. You know, like, did they stumble upon this, or were they specifically looking online for tragic, shattered shirt, and then they put it on? They're like, yes, this is it.
There's so many of these brands too. I mean, I saw a lot of them today, like the Andrew Christians of the world, the Ortu, Etalon, I think is another one that I saw the guy wearing the crocheted shirt today. But it's like, it's literally just Instagram algorithm outfits. But I agree with you. I think inflation has hit the girls. They weren't able to get that rush same day shipping on their mesh and iridescent outfits.
There was one girl that it was like an opposite of a poncho. Like, it was like the outline of a poncho, but no threading.
And everything else was like fishnet material.
Yes.
Can I tell you what I think of every time I see these girls in this wide mesh?
Gay Fury Road.
No. My brain just goes, oh, the turtles. I just think
they're all gonna get caught. Yes.
Yeah, you know, like a turtle fin, like stuck in like the plastic,
the 6-pack for the Cokes.
That's what I think of every time.
That's honestly a really good image of what it looked like.
Well, they look like they're struggling like that too.
Yeah. Well, you know, hopefully inflation's supposed to go down this year, so hopefully next year it's a return to form.
You know, we're being a little mean. Like, I love the girls wearing what makes them feel good. But at the same time, I just think like you could elevate your taste level a little bit. Like wearing the mesh and the really flashy iridescent stuff, and when you're like a 22-year-old twink, is cute. But when you get a little up there, like I just want to see like a little more depth, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So we've talked about fashion a little bit, but like fashion is a huge part of your life.
Yeah.
So how did fashion become so important?
It's a pretty straightforward story for me. My family's only idea of a vacation growing up was to go to Vegas. My parents love Vegas. Like by the age of 30, I think I've been nearly 80, 90 times, something crazy like that. Like we would go like 4 or 5 times a year.
I wonder if we ever bumped into each other. Every summer we would go to Vegas.
You're shitting me.
No.
What, like over the 4th of July? Because I was always there the 4th of July.
I don't know if I know. I just remember it being summer and it was so hot, and I like the misters.
Oh my God, I love the misters. You have to have them there.
Yeah,
Where did you stay at as a kid?
We stayed at the Bellagio every year.
Oh my God.
This is from like middle school through high.
Oh my God.
No, actually, that's not even true. Through like probably 4th grade through high school, I went every summer.
We had to be there at the same time at some point.
Yeah.
I probably bullied you at the pool.
No, other way around. I would always go to the New York arcade.
Oh my God, me too. And the one at
I think I might have beat you at something.
At Luxor. I was king of the Dance Revolution.
Did I ever give you swirly? I think we're remembering the same
the same image. No, I was king of the Dance Revolution machine.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
I could totally see you that.
But back to the what we were discussing. So my parents would always go to Vegas. There clearly is not a ton for a young kid to do there. Yeah. So during the day you have the pool, and then at night you had the arcade. All the big casinos in those days had those massive arcades. But of course, at some point I started to age out of that too, where I just was like, I needed something else to do. And at the same time, Vegas was going sort of under a transformation into more of a higher end destination. They were trying to build out lots of big clubs. They were adding lots of shopping.
Did you ever go to the Caesar's Palace?
The
mall? The mall?
Oh yeah. Was obsessed with it as a kid. Like
it's so big. Like I still don't really understand the layout of that mall.
Oh, I have it mapped in my head.
It is, but it's like, I don't like, where does it fit? Like where, like I don't, where does that come from? Like I just don't understand how they can fit all that.
I loved that, and my parents too. Every time they would win something big, just to make me feel better about having been there the whole time, they'd be like, "Oh, well, let's just go buy you whatever you were eyeing all week." And so I pretty quickly developed a love for fashion. I loved all the stores, Versace, Louis Vuitton, because like where I lived,
like none of that existed.
We didn't have that. So yeah, that sort of formed my early love for designer and fashion.
So one thing that I've noticed about you is that not only do you love fashion, but you're able to recall like the year something was put out.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember we went to Wasteland here in San Francisco. It's a place where it's vintage, but it's also like resell
Yeah.
clothing, including higher end like Louis Vuitton and
Yeah.
Hermes stuff.
Yeah.
And we went down and you're like 2019, 2018, 20, like you were able to recall the year it was made. Like, how do you do, like, is that just something that you pick up on and like your memory is really good?
Yeah, I mean, I love runway fashion.
Uh-huh.
I mean, to me, fashion is such an important part of who we are. It's one of the ways that we communicate to people, like who we are, what we're interested in, what we value. Like even not being interested in fashion is you're still communicating in some way to people with what the choices that you wear and what you put on your body. It like gives me a little insight into who people are.
Yeah.
And similarly, I think a lot about the way that I dress and what I want to communicate to someone, and runway fashion in particular is something I've always been really obsessed with. Just like the like beauty of
Yeah.
it. And Alexander McQueen, who I know we've talked about before, was like probably the like most inspirational fashion designer to me, and I was so immersed in the world that he created on runway. And so yeah, ever since then I've been really into runway shows. My brain certainly does keep sort of like an archive of collections and themes and outfits throughout the years. And like the way that you associate music, I think, with certain moments and periods, fashion is the same way for me, where I think about like sort of golden eras of fashion and like the way I felt during those periods.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I want like the way I memorize music isn't so much like I practice it. It's just I can recall when a song was played and then kind of trace that memory to a certain period. Like I can go forward and backward in the memory until I associate it with like a year.
Mm-hmm.
So very interesting. And what do you do now? Like, what would you say your approach to style every day wear is? Like, what do you think is like when you look to buy something, what is it that you look for?
Yeah, I mean, my style has changed a lot. I mean, I think it's representative of a lot of things, of like a time and a place, and like where you are in your life and like what you prioritize. And in my early to mid 20s, I certainly wore really loud, bold things, and I did wear a lot of runway fashion that was like super impractical because I just had
what?
Just like really loud, like Louboutin shoes I was obsessed with, and I would wear stuff that's like covered in like, you know,
the logo,
Swarovski crystals, and just like very flamboyant sort of fashion style.
Was that your gay phase? Like where you're like, fuck it, fuck gender norms, like I'm gay and I want this.
A little bit, and I think that's kind of what we see at like the party fashion, right? Is like people that want to be able to like have a louder sense, but they haven't quite refined it or figure out like how that translates to what their actual style is. And as I've gotten older, I mean, number one, I don't think that style like really works for me as much anymore. It's too loud. It's too ostentatious and attention seeking. It's just not what I want anymore. So I have a more refined sense today, but also like living in San Francisco, I will say it's really hard.
There's nowhere to wear it.
It's not even like, you could make the argument of just be you and wear the things that you want to wear, but it's really hard to do that in a city that the general fashion that people are wearing is so casual, and almost everyone's wearing sportswear or like athleisure, and it just, you feel too out of water, like two fish out of water, I guess I would say. So I think that's probably one of my least favorite things about living here, is that I feel like I can't often dress the way I want to dress. Like you probably see a disconnect between like my Instagram content versus like what I'll wear on a day-to-day basis, because I'm like dressing down almost in a sense.
Yeah.
Whereas like if I go to Paris, I get to like experiment more, and you know, no one bats an eye at it really.
Right. It's like the venue for the outfit. Like you won't feel so out of place for that. Like it kind of demands it.
Yeah. What about you? Like I feel like hopefully I rub off on you in a good way sometimes, but I'm starting to see you experiment more with your style.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had like, so actually, funny story, in my senior superlative in high school, best dressed. Isn't that? I think that was also code word for it, fag of the year.
Faggot.
Yeah.
It's like relative.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I
They're
mean,
like,
Helen Keller probably wrote that, but it's all relative to the.
She was the only one that voted. Yes. Yes. But I've never been obsessed with brands. I think probably now I'm like the most aware of brands, but I've never really chosen something because of the brand. I usually have bought stuff that is centered around making me look better physically.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. You definitely like things that either display or accentuate your physical assets.
Yeah, and I think that's how I approach fashion, is that I look for things that are complementary for my body and age.
Mm-hmm. Where there's a lot of people that they try to hide those things, like not even just out of insecurity, like even someone that feels really secure about their body, sometimes they don't want the attention that comes with, accentuating that or displaying it.
Exactly. They'll buy oversized or, put on an extra layer or something to sort of hide it. I'm basically the opposite, where I'll take off a layer before going outside.
I think, and in this broader topic of, what people wear to parties and what we observed today, I think that's like a struggle for me, is like, I know we're going to go to these things and at some point everyone just gets like shirtless.
Yeah. So I remember we've had this conversation, sometimes you will ask me, what are you wearing? Me specifically, what am I wearing? And I've talked to you about this a little bit, and you've told me that you get a little anxious going to some of these parties. Can you like why?
You mean from like a fashion standpoint?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's just, well, number one, a lot of my wardrobe is not meant to go wear to some of the parties that we go to. Like I am really conscious of the things that I buy, and frankly, a lot of the things I buy are extremely expensive. Yeah. But not only that, it's that I genuinely like care for the things that
you don't want it to end up with sweat. You don't want someone to spill drinks on it. You like it.
I'm like, to your point, like I know what runway show it came from. Right. And it's it could be like 2017 Dior, and it's like there is no replacement for that piece. Yeah. Right. So a lot of the things that I feel like that look good on me and that I love, I can't wear to those kind of events. So when I show up there, I'm wearing something like really simple, like a tank top or t-shirt that is probably going to come off at some point. And so either like dressed or undressed in those events, I don't really feel like myself. I don't feel like I'm showing up as me. I feel like I'm having to fit some sort of mold just to like be in this space, if that makes sense.
Do you think that has it gotten better over time?
Not really. I mean, I feel like I have to buy clothes for these kinds of things, but even still, like, because, you might get shirtless or whatever. I don't know. Like I get a lot of joy out of not just what I'm wearing, but seeing other people being really stylized and the personality that they're sort of displaying with what they're wearing. And it's always been a bit of a struggle for me to be in these spaces where it regresses to the mean and everyone is just, they all look like the same thing.
Yeah.
We talked about this in the Mexico City episode, that I really appreciated the effort and like attention that people were putting into what they wore. And do you feel like you noticed a difference? And like, I think about that guy that was DJing at one of the clubs that we went to. Like, even just seeing him in that outfit, you got so much personality or like sort of insight into who he was.
Yeah, you're totally right. Mexico, I think we might have mentioned this. People dressed up like no one was in shorts when they went out to the clubs and bars. People went out, like we saw someone at Bruja in a full on, like in a suit. Mm-hmm. People wearing all in pants. They were wearing like a nice top, and this DJ that we saw, he was wearing a red blazer, red pants, and heart-shaped sunglasses.
Yeah,
and it was a vibe.
Yeah, and I mean, it probably wasn't like a crazy expensive outfit or anything like that. I think there's like, I'm not trying to say that people need to spend stupid amounts of money to like, dress up like that. That has nothing to do with fashion. Like things can be inexpensive and still be very fashionable. But I just wish in general that people put more effort into what they wear. And I think they do in a lot of different cities, like in New York. I think we see a lot broader fashion styles. But it's whether it's sort of, again, regresses to the mean, like I said, and people are just shirtless, or they're just wearing sportswear, which I think is a really common dress style here.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard for me to like, meet people and socialize with them because I feel like, I'm not getting that creative sense from them, or like there's anything there other than them just being very vanilla.
To be fair, at these parties, though, the lighting, it makes what you're wearing irrelevant because everyone looks like they're wearing either a dark or light colored.
Well, today at like a day party, you could see everyone. And I did see some people in like I said, maybe not the most tasteful outfits, but like they were at least having fun with it. And so it was nice to see that, to like see people enjoying themselves in what they were wearing. I saw a guy in like a faux like green sort of minkish cropped coat that I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, Avery was wearing a onesie, like a full-on velvet with a green ascot, like in heels, like fantastic. Like people are genuinely, that's what makes a day party so much different from like a night party, is that fashion really does it matters a lot more during the daytime.
Well, you have an opportunity to like certainly display it more easily. I I don't judge anybody really for the type of clothing they wear, more or less, but I do really appreciate someone that I can tell has really thought about what they're wearing, and especially when it like you see it, how it connects, like you're like, oh, this really makes sense for you. You, for example, I'm starting to see you experiment a lot more with like crocheted and knit sort of things, and
even the shape of the shirts that I'm buying.
Yeah, the shape is changing a lot, more flowy, relaxed. And you are leaning towards earth tones, which obviously complement you really well. But I want to see you in like more interesting things too.
Well, actually, I told you this yesterday. I got a new piece that's a cropped top that I'm going to wear out for dinner. So that's going to be, I wouldn't say it's like the most risky thing ever, but I will say it's different for me. And I'm like excited. And like, I think I really like what you wear really does show like kind of your personality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it does. There is something to say like what you wear and making it seem like you want to be there.
Yeah.
I think it makes other people like feel good. Like this person got dressed up for dinner. He really they want to be here.
I love a night when we all sort of
themed nights.
Yeah, that we align that we're going to like put some effort into what we're wearing. And
so what are your favorite like theme nights that we've had?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
So for the viewers, usually when we go out to like these destinations, we have one night dedicated to a certain like fashion theme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think in Mykonos in particular, we did a really good job of the sort of themed outfits. I remember there was like a cream night or something, and everyone wore like shades of cream and in like completely different style of outfits too. Like some of us I think had like flowy linen pants, and I had like these cool Fendi cargo shorts, and just like the way that we interpreted it was always pretty different, but it looked really cohesive together. What about you? What was your favorite theme night?
I think it might have been the first one, but when we had bandana night.
Oh, we've done bandana night, I think like 2 or 3 times now, maybe.
It's kind of fun. Like, it's just funny. Like, you can put it around your head. You can put it around your arm. You can leave it hanging from your pocket. Like, it's kind of funny.
The challenge is that it gets confused for the handkerchief code. Oh, yeah. So you don't want to be the person with like the yellow or the red.
So today I saw that, and the person someone was wearing a green bandana, and I'm always like, and that means I think they're prostitute or they sell look it up.
Yeah, I'm looking now. Green is hustler prostitution.
Yeah, so I'm always
actually fitting for that person, I think.
I think so too. We shouldn't have cut this out.
No, it's fine.
So right now, what do you what is your approach to going out? To a gay party? Like, what do you look for now?
If we're just doing like a really casual bar, I will typically dress a little bit up. Like more experimentative, just because like I want to wear some of the things that are in my closet. But I know if we're going to like some wild circuit party, like it's going to be really basic.
regardless
Also,
of
my
the.
shoes get destroyed every time.
Oh, you have to bring the old nasty Vans.
But see,
that
that's
you
the thing.
have?
Like, I do not have inexpensive shoes. Like, shoes are one of the, like, I have maybe some Nikes for the gym,
Yeah,
but shoes are probably one of the things I spend like the most money on.
black tennis shoes, black Nikes, black Vans.
Yeah, they're going to be gross.
Yeah, just buy them, and that's the only time you ever wear it. My advice to going out to like a dancing bar is never wear that many layers because you don't want to coat check
Well, yeah, I mean, if you coach it, you might not see that coat again.
ever again, or you're going to be in line for half the party, either getting it back or putting it in the rack.
This is so random too, but I just know from reading about this before that people have like a really high percentage of people have bed bugs. And I think about that with coat checks all the time.
I've never thought about that, and I really, really wish you never told
had
me
brought that up. So now every time I think about a coat check, I just think about your jacket being adjacent to several others. It
think
really
also
bothers me.
Crabs
Oh,
can probably.
did those get on clothing?
I think so.
Are you speaking from experience?
No, no, I'm not. I've never had crabs. Ooh. Ooh.
But now when you think about a coat check, you can just think about all the little creepy crawlies that are
Thank you.
all over your clothing. So I agree with you. My recommendation is also just to
Uber, run in.
I have stood outside in the cold or rain in little shorts and a tank top.
I was going to say, we did that a couple of weeks ago.
I relied on your body heat.
Yeah, most people do.
At least the hair on your body serves some purpose, some function.
Thank God.
When you're going out to these spaces, what do you think about wearing? I feel like you are experimenting with your fashion a bit more, but you also just wear the same kind of like vintage cut off tank to everything.
But I really am proud of these cutoff tanks because I make them. I go to I just go to the store and see like, okay, what is vintage looking?
And how do you, so let's talk about that. How do you choose these tank tops?
I look
Is it like color? Is it, because they're almost always printed like a design on them, like some sort of vintage graphic tee. How do you choose? Like, is it the print? Is it the color, the fit?
So it's going to be definitely like I'm now leaning toward, because I went to Australia. So the biggest thing that I took away from Australia is what men were dressed like. And they're wearing these oversized cut tanks, basically. They were definitely like vintage shirts with the sleeves ripped out. I used to get just vintage tanks. I'd look for specific colors, usually black, gray, and white. Mm-hmm. And then I would cut off not just the sleeves. I would go into the actual shoulder and then do like a semi half moon, basically.
Yeah.
Once I got the perfect shirt, I would use that. A perfect tank, I would use that as the outline for the other ones. Mm-hmm. And then I'd just cut around. But now, after going to Australia, they don't usually cut into the actual shirt. It's just the sleeves. And they're very exaggerated shapes, so they're a lot more oversized.
Yeah.
So now when I go to Buffalo Exchange, all these like vintage stores, I look for not only big shirts, but also the type of material it is. Like, you don't want it to be so stiff because then it just looks awkward when you cut off the sleeves. Mm-hmm. You want it to be like, you want it to be a little flexible so that it can bend to my every curve, and I have a lot of them. So my approach is typically to like these parties though is to kind of wear something that I'm not going to really care about because no one can see you.
Well, that, and it's going to get spilled on or people run into you.
And you don't want to be in coat check, so you want to be able to put it in your back pocket. And if it gets taken by that daddy, let him have it.
So basic.
He'll have my scent and that's it. Nothing else and nothing more.
What I am picking up on though is it's interesting, like how we are influenced by like seeing these things on other people. Like, you went to Australia, you saw these people that totally changed the way that you were.
Imagine the type of people that you've influenced. It's so crazy.
Probably millions.
I don't know about that.
You know, what I think about is that, again, I love seeing people wear the things that excite them and that like feel like they're being true to them. It's always fun to go to these parties and see the outfits, like whether we think they're good or not, just seeing like people wear something different than I think those like club venues where it's really hard to see or people are just shirtless. So I really love that aspect of the day party. But I think both of us could do a better job at these things, like being our authentic selves, showing up in the things that like experimenting ourselves, I guess is what I'm getting at.
I would never wear high heels to these parties though. I'm gonna fall.
I can't imagine you in high heels
or being comfortable. I don't know how long do these people in high heels like last.
Yeah, have you ever worn high heels?
My mom's when I went to go get the groceries from outside.
Why has everyone done that? Is it just a gay kid thing, or do you think like straight boys have like done that too?
No, I think it's every child has done that.
Did your mom catch you doing that?
Yeah, I didn't care. I mean, like she wanted me to go get the groceries.
Oh, you were trying to be funny.
No, I went outside in whatever shoes I saw available. It's survival of the fittest.
But you were able to walk in them. Because walking in heels is very difficult.
I think so. Maybe it was a kitten heel or something. But I've definitely put on my mom's heels.
I once bought a pair of Louboutin heels for decoration because it matched the wallpaper in my old house.
What?
Very complicated. But I, of course, bought them in my own size because you might want to wear them one day. And I could not believe that people walk around in these things. Like, this has to be the least feminist thing ever, is a pair of heels. They look great on people.
You know, actually, that they made them for men originally.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like so a little raised heel.
Look taller, and I don't know how it got to females, but
I mean, I definitely have had shoes that have more of a stacked heel like that, like a boot or something that has a stacked heel, and I do like the way that feels.
Right.
But that's nothing like wearing like a stiletto or something like that. I like the way that it raises your butt, but I have no idea how people, like, to your point, and especially like a party like what we went today, that you would elect to go stand around in that for several hours.
It's torture. It would be absolute torture. So no, I'm not getting an experiment.
So you're maybe we'll get you in some like iridescent mesh sometime.
And a dangly earring with matching pearls. Fake pearls.
Well, I won't yuck people's fashion yums, but
at least not to their face.
Not to their face. We'll be talking about it on the sideline. But it's really nice to see people experiment and not wear just Patagonia and the North Face all the time. Yeah. Maybe we can get you in at least something a little more bright and bold.
No promises.
In the future party.
No promises.
I'd like to see you in like a fuchsia. I think you would look good in fuchsia.
Like as a top?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're the expert. I'll let you lead that one.
Well, we'll see if we can get Alex into some more fun outfits at the next party, and we'll report back.
We will. All right. We'll see you guys.
Talk next week. Hey, it's Colby and Alex here. Thank you for listening to No Notes.
If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to follow us wherever you get your podcasts and share with your friends.
You can also follow us on Instagram at No Notes Pod, one word, where you'll find updates on new episodes and see more into our lives and the stories that we share with you on this show.
Your support means the world to us. Until next time, keep it real and keep it queer.